What can we expect heading into 2025 and 2026 for real estate investors? What are the obstacles? What are the fears? What are the solutions? And what I've spit out is damn right scary. I get it. The last few years for real estate investors have been difficult. Rising interest rates, inflation, regulatory changes, landlord-tenant board, dried up cash flow. It's been challenging. But what's on my mind, and to be honest, what's on my heart, is what's going to happen to real estate investors here in Canada at the end of 2024, what's happening into 2025, what could happen beyond into 2026 and 2027. And since none of us have a crystal ball, I thought I would ask the closest thing we have to a crystal ball, what's going to happen? And that's artificial intelligence. Now, I won't mention which one, but I'll give you a hint. It starts with a chat and ends in a GPT. You figure it out. And I asked this artificial intelligence exactly that question. So my goal is to tell you exactly what I learned to make sure your stomach is turning too. But I'm going to give you some solutions to work with so we can start working on it now and get ahead of the game. Stay tuned. So what are the biggest fears for Canadians? Number one, the conversation we've all been having for 2 years, interest rate uncertainty and volatility. Yes, it's been crazy. Interest rates are now coming down, but that doesn't mean that we're all going to jump out and start buying properties tomorrow. We need to see a trend. So in fact, TD Bank, which is a good thing, TD Bank is projecting we're going to decrease a further 200 basis points from today. Today's October 31st, I'm shooting this video. So by Q1 2026, just about a year and a bit from now, they expect the prime rate to be down from where it is another 200 basis points. So another 2% fully down from where it is. And that's going to alleviate a lot of the pressure people have on their HELOC payments, credit card payments, car payments, and open up the flow of money again so people are not afraid to spend. Right now, people are walking around holding onto their wallets, not wanting to spend anymore because they're getting killed month to month. There's no free cash flow left. So alleviating interest rates, the higher interest rates, is going to solve that big problem and quench the fear of Canadians. The second biggest fear is market volatility. Canadians don't like prices coming up and down. We're not like the Americans. It seems the Americans can tolerate more price volatility than we can. We like the slow and steady increase, and if it's going to decrease, short, fast, get it over with, and move on. We've kind of had that, and now it's back time for that slow and steady increase, and that's exactly what CREA is predicting, the Canadian Real Estate Association. So they're predicting a 7.8% rise in national transaction numbers. So that's an increase in the transaction volume happening around Canada. And that's really a statement of confidence in the real estate market. And that's the very first sign that we need before prices begin to rise more steadily. I'm not going to make a prediction on prices rising because I don't think it matters until we see an increase in the number of transactions. We need to see buyer confidence back in the market, and that's what CREA is telling us. But until then, buyers are scared. They don't like the market volatility. If you can't predict what's going to happen in the next 6 to 12 months, then why would you make a big purchase? It doesn't make any sense. So we're waiting for that to change. Big fear number 3 for Canadians is economic recession. It's getting bad for a lot of Canadians out there, especially middle to lower income people, and it sucks. And people are not spending. And until those fears are quenched, people are just not going to spend. They're going to continue to save, and that's a deflationary cycle for the bank. And that can lead into some very, very bad things. That's one reason why even the AI model agrees that the printing presses are going to start to turn on again and get some liquidity into the market, because as a capitalist society, at least for now, we need to continue spending. We need consumerism to return. And that economic downturn, that elephant in the room, is sitting in the back of Canadians' minds. And they want to see some long-term, at least longer-term predictions of positivity. Like, hey, the GDP is now growing per capita again. The real estate market is returning. Stocks are doing well. Construction is back and happening again. We need some long-term positivity to bring some confidence back. FD predicts this change, this positive change is coming, but they're very ambiguous about their prediction. So that means I think they're waiting to see also. So while this remains a fear for many Canadians, we can beat it by making investments that are cash flow positive. And so just in case there is more recession to go, there is some volatility in interest rates, we can be safe and make sure that our assets continue to grow and cash flow. Big fear number 4, not so much for me and a lot of my students and mentees, but oversupply in condos is a fear sitting in a lot of investors' minds. We don't typically advise high levels of speculation in the pre-construction condo market because in the end, we believe it is simply speculation and not investing. When you're not investing for cash flow, it's a speculation. That's what we believe and that's what we preach. But other investors are highly leveraged in that condo market and it's not doing well. They cannot escape the cycle. They have purchased units on paper and there is no way out. They have to close on these. They cannot assign them like they did before. They have to close. And when they get to closing of these condos, and this year, next year, the following years, 24, 25, 26, 27, the values may not be as high as they were when they bought them. It's a big problem. So there are a lot of people who have a lot of liquidity tied up there who won't be making any moves or need to escape some of these not so great speculations they made in order to re-enter the market. So that remains a big fear. How do you get around that? If you're in that game, call me. I've helped, I'm going to say almost 9 or 10 investors kind of escape that cycle by either selling, assigning, wherever they can. Even some investors I advise, and I don't normally do this, to take a small loss on a few condo units just to recover their capital. Only because we were able to reinvest some of that capital into much, much better investments to not only recover the loss, but make a real profit. And they're much more stable now. So if you're in that game, call me. I'm not going to advise you to sell if you don't have to, but I want to help you because it sucks to have your hands tied and be handcuffed in an investment that doesn't work. Now, the last fear that AI touched on was interesting. And the way they worded it was even more interesting. Regulatory changes. And most of that has to do with the landlord and tenant board. Now, we all know the landlord and tenant board needs a serious overhaul and it's got problems. If you need to use the landlord and tenant board, it's a slow and painful process. And there are many ways that tenants may be able to take advantage of landlords. It's not a good system. However, Doug Ford has come out and said that they want to improve this system. I know they've said that before and they made some improvements, but they want to make more. So the AI model is saying it kind of sucks now, but we think it's going to get better. I don't think that's going to provide you a ton of comfort, but the solution we always advocate is prevention. So when you're filling your properties, we need to make absolute sure that you're putting in good people. We rarely have issues. It's very, very, very rare. And the best way to avoid all those problems in the landlord and tenant board is to never go there in the first place. So if you're one of our students, if you're learning from how we place tenants and the criteria we use, 9 out of 10 of your problems, 90% or more of your problems are going to go away before they ever start. Here's my personal message to you. I'm not an old man, but I've been doing this for 15 years and I've seen some volatility in some cycles. And that's exactly what we're going through right now is a cycle. This is a difficult one, even for me. I've made it through okay, and some of the investments I made through that cycle are doing extremely well right now. Could I have done more? Yes, but the economics are the economics. I can only control what I can control. So here's what I'm going to do for you. Before COVID, believe it or not, I used to do monthly meetups, and not just 10, 20 people. I'm talking 50, 60, 80, 100, 120 people. The last meetup, masterclass, how I call them, we had, before COVID shut us down, we had 134 people registered. These were live events. I had speakers, we had food, we had drinks, we had networking. It was fantastic, and I'm bringing it back for 2025. I'm going to do a little teaser event before 2025, November 28th, 2024, in Oakville, at one of our favorite local restaurants here. I'm going to invite 40 40 investors to come out, have a little VIP networking event. I'm going to show investors to the investments I made, some CMHC funded multifamily construction projects that did extremely well. And I'm going to show you how it's done. And I'm going to bring the broker who helped me do them, the mortgage broker who helped me fund the deals. He's going to explain to you how this CMHC program works. I'm going to show you all the numbers, my construction costs, my end costs, my refinance costs, the rent costs, the cash flow, everything. I'm just going to open the books. And I'm going to show you why it's a fantastic investment. It's not going to be right for everybody, but I want to show you what I did to let you know that even in difficult times, there are opportunities. And as we move forward into better times, there's going to be more and more opportunities out there, and I'm going to bring them to you. So I want you to come out November 28th for the teaser event. And if you can't make that, no problem. I'll wish you a Merry Christmas through video, but I want you to pay attention to February 2025, because we'll have our first event live in February 2025. I don't know what we're going to call it yet, but we're going to bring them back live at least bi-monthly until everyone gets used to coming out, getting off their chairs, off of Zoom, shaking hands, kissing babies, learning from each other, networking again. I want to see everybody live and in person. So that's my message to you. I hope you can make it out. If you can't, we'll see you in 2025.